It was the kind of doll that belonged in a museum, or perhaps locked away in an attic. But 6-year-old Lily had fallen in love with it. Her parents, Liam and Chloe, stood in the dusty antique shop, exchanging a familiar, weary glance. They had moved to the suburbs 3 weeks prior, and Lily was struggling. She missed her old school, her old friends, and the constant noise of the city. Their new house was large, quiet, and, in Lily's opinion, lonely. They were desperate to see their daughter smile again. So, when Lily pointed to the porcelain doll sitting on the highest shelf, Liam had already reached for his wallet. The doll was beautiful, in a severe, antique way. It had glass blue eyes, impossibly perfect ringlets of blonde hair, and a pristine, Victorian-era lace dress. Its cheeks were painted a permanent, bright pink. The shopkeeper, an elderly man with watery eyes, seemed almost too relieved.
Yes, Rosalina, a fine choice. She's been waiting a long time for a good home.
She's old. Is she stable for a child?
Oh, perfectly stable, resilient. For you, a special price. She needs a family.
They bought her. The moment Liam placed the doll in Lily's arms, the change was immediate. Lily's melancholy vanished, replaced by a bright, fierce joy. The first week was a honeymoon. The house was no longer quiet. It was filled with Lily's laughter as she hosted elaborate tea parties for Rosalina. She sat the doll at the dinner table. She dressed her in pajamas. Liam and Chloe were thrilled. Their daughter was back. It was the best $20 they had ever spent. The first incident happened on a Tuesday. Liam was working late. Chloe was in the kitchen, washing dishes, while Lily played in the living room with Rosalina. Chloe heard her daughter talking.
No, Rosalina, you can't have more cake. You'll get sick.
Chloe smiled, rinsing a plate. A normal, happy sound. A moment later, Lily spoke again, but this time, her voice was different. It was flat, quiet, and cold.
You can't say that. That's not nice. No, I won't.
Chloe turned off the water, straining her ears. The living room had gone silent.
Lily? Honey, who are you talking to?
There was a pause. Lily walked into the kitchen doorway, but she wasn't holding the doll. Her face was pale.
Rosalina said a bad word. She said she wants to meet Mark and Emily.
Chloe frowned. Mark and Emily were there, closest friends, their neighbors from the old city.
Honey, the doll didn't say that. You're just pretending.
Lily shook her head, her eyes wide with a strange, adult-like seriousness.
No, Mommy. She said she wants them to be her next family.
A cold, sharp unease settled over Chloe. She forced a laugh, but the sound was thin and brittle.
That's a silly thing to pretend, sweetie. Mark and Emily live far away. Now, go wash up for dinner.
Lily stared at her for a moment longer, her expression unreadable, before turning and walking away. Chloe watched her go, the innocent laughter from the living room now feeling like a distant, hollow echo. That night, Liam came home late. Chloe told him what Lily had said.
She's 6, Chloe. She has an overactive imagination. Next family? She probably heard it on a cartoon.
It wasn't what she said, Liam. It was how she said it. Her voice was gone. It wasn't her.
Liam sighed, rubbing his eyes. He didn't want to fight.
Okay, I'll talk to her tomorrow. But the doll stays. She's happy. Let's not borrow trouble.
But the trouble, it seemed, was already there. 2 nights later, Liam and Chloe were woken by a sound. It wasn't a creak. It wasn't the house settling. It was a loud, definitive crash from downstairs, followed by the sharp, splintering sound of broken glass. Liam was out of bed instantly. He moved down the stairs, his heart pounding. The house was pitch black. He felt a small, sharp object under his bare foot. Crying out, he flicked on the living room light. The room was a wreck. The large, framed wedding photo that had been on the mantel was shattered on the floor. But that wasn't what made his blood run cold. Rosalina, the doll, was sitting in the middle of the floor, directly on top of the shattered glass. And resting perfectly in her lap, placed with deliberate care, was the small, silver frame from their bedside table. The one containing a photo of their friends, Mark and Emily.
Liam, what happened?
Liam pointed at the doll with the bat. His voice was barely a whisper.
She's holding Mark and Emily.
That was the breaking point. The next morning, Liam put the doll in a black trash bag. He didn't care if Lily cried.
We're taking it back. Now. This is over.
They drove to the antique shop. The elderly shopkeeper was standing behind the counter, exactly as they had left him.
We're returning this. We want a refund.
The shopkeeper looked at the trash bag, then at Liam. His watery eyes showed no surprise. He just looked tired.
There are no refunds, son. And she won't stay. You should know that.
What did you just say?
Nothing. Just take your money. Please. Just get her out of my shop.
He shoved the $20 back into Liam's hand. Liam threw the bag onto the counter and left. The drive home was silent, but the relief was immense. The air in the car felt lighter. When they pulled into their driveway, Chloe let out a long, shaky breath.
It's over. Thank God. We'll get her a new doll tomorrow.
Liam nodded, a weight lifting from his shoulders. He got out of the car. He walked up the pathway to their front door, and he froze. Sitting perfectly upright on the welcome mat, her glass blue eyes staring straight ahead, was Rosalina. Chloe saw it from the car. A sharp, strangled cry escaped her lips. No, Liam, no, it's not. But it was. It was the same doll. Its pristine lace dress was slightly wrinkled from the trash bag, but otherwise, it was perfect. And it was waiting. Liam felt the relief in his chest turn to icy, burning rage. This wasn't a prank. This was an invasion. He didn't say a word. He stalked past the doll, unlocked the house, and went straight to the garage. He returned with a heavy-duty contractor bag and a shovel.
What are you doing? Don't touch it, Liam!
We're not taking it back to that old man. We're ending this.
He used the shovel to scoop the doll into the bag, avoiding touching it with his hands. He tied the bag shut, threw it in the trunk, and got back in the car. He drove for nearly an hour, past the town limits, into the county landfill. It was a desolate, stinking place. He ignored the no trespassing signs, drove to the back, and threw the black bag into a massive, open pit of refuse. He watched it disappear. They drove home in absolute silence. That night, the house was still. For the first time, there was no sense of being watched. They checked on Lily. She was fast asleep, her breathing even. Liam and Chloe collapsed onto their own bed, drained.
It's done. Finally, it's done.
They fell into a heavy, exhausted sleep. At 3:15 a.m., Liam woke up. The house was cold, ice cold.
Liam? Do you hear that?
Liam listened. A sound was coming from the kitchen downstairs. A slow, rhythmic scrape. He grabbed the bat. They crept down the stairs, their bare feet freezing on the hardwood. The sound was coming from the kitchen table. Liam flicked on the light. Rosalina was sitting in the center of the kitchen table. She was no longer pristine. She was covered in filth, mud, and scraps of garbage from the dump. One of her glass blue eyes was cracked, a jagged line running through the iris, and the smell of rot and old lace, filled the room. It was holding the silver-framed photograph of Mark and Emily.
It wants them.
Liam, that's the shopkeeper. Look.
Liam looked closer. Tucked into the doll's dress was a small, yellowed business card. Gerard's Antiques and Curioses.
Stay here. Lock the door. I'm going back to the shop. I'm not asking him this time. I'm making him talk.
He drove through the pre-dawn darkness, the bat on the passenger seat. The antique shop was dark. The open sign flipped to closed. He banged on the glass.
Open up. I know you're in there, you old fraud.
A light flickered on in the back. The old shopkeeper appeared, his face pale and terrified.
Go away. I told you, no refunds.
It came back. It was at my house. It was covered in filth. Now you tell me what this thing is.
The shopkeeper's shoulders slumped, a look of profound, ancient defeat on his face. He slowly unlocked the door.
So, it has chosen? Please, come in.
The shop smelled of dust and something bitter.
It's not a doll. Not really. It's a vessel. It carries an echo,
he explained. The doll, Rosalina, had belonged to his sister, who died in a house fire in 1953. She was left alone. The spirit, the echo, attached itself to the doll, forever seeking a family.
But the echo is greedy. It loves a new family, but it always gets bored. It always looks for the next one. It starts showing them pictures of who it wants.
Liam felt his stomach clench. The photo of Mark and Emily.
How do I stop it? How do I destroy it?
The old man shook his head, his eyes watering.
You can't. Not by destroying it. It only comes back angrier. It must be given willingly, as a gift. It's the only way to pass the burden.
Liam stared at him, the cold realization dawning.
A gift? To who?
The shopkeeper just looked at him, his eyes filled with a shared, terrible guilt.
That is the choice you have to make, son. Just as I had to make it when it showed me your daughter's picture.
Liam stared, the confession hanging in the dusty, bitter air. The shopkeeper hadn't sold him a doll. He had passed on a curse. He had sacrificed Lily to save himself. He walked out of the shop, the $20 crumpled in his fist. He didn't go home. He drove to a diner and sat there until dawn. The bat on the seat next to him, the choice eating him alive. It was his daughter, or his friends. A week later, they drove back to their old neighborhood in the city. Mark and Emily were thrilled to see them, a surprise visit. Lily was quiet, holding a beautifully wrapped gift box in her lap.
You guys, you didn't have to bring anything. And Lily, look at you.
Lily, pale and silent, held up the box.
This is for you. From us.
Emily unwrapped the box. Inside, Rosalina sat, her glass blue eyes staring, her painted cheeks bright.
Oh, she's exquisite. She's an antique. Lily, are you sure?
Liam placed a heavy hand on his daughter's shoulder, forcing a smile that felt like broken glass.
She's a family gift. We wanted you to have her. She needs a good home.
Chloe watched from the doorway, her face ashen, silent. She couldn't speak, but she didn't stop him. The betrayal was a shared act. They left an hour later. As they drove away, Liam looked in the rearview mirror. Mark and Emily were waving from their porch, holding the doll. That night, for the first time in weeks, their house was silent. Lily slept soundly. The air was light. They were free. The relief was short-lived. The guilt was a different kind of haunting, suffocating and cold. 2 weeks later, Liam was checking the city news, an obsessive habit he'd developed. He saw the headline, "Tragic fire in city apartment. Couple perishes." He clicked the link. The faces staring back at him from the article were Mark and Emily. The police report was brief. It mentioned a freak accident, a fire that started in their freak living room. But one detail, noted by a first responder, made Liam drop his coffee mug. The firemen had found the couple deceased. But they also found a single porcelain doll sitting unharmed in the center of the hallway, facing the front door, as if it were waiting for its next family.